Warriors had already cornered the market on three-point shooting, considering they rained down on the league with two of the best shooters of all time for so many years. But it turns out they were pretty thin in the shooting department all that time. And if you look at their three-point frequency and rank, there seemed to be a downward trend they wanted to stop in a big way.
I want to be a high-volume three-point shooting team. I think that's important for us.
Believe it or not, the Warriors are focused on shooting even more threes this year than ever before.
I think that's going to kind of be our approach, and we've got a bunch of guys that get it up. And as long as they're good shots and good rhythm and treated the right way, we want to take them.
Last year, their three-point frequency of 42.5% ranked them 6th in the league.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
In the preseason, they've exploded by taking over 50% of their total shots from behind the arc. And here is how they're doing it. First off, transition. The easiest way to push up your three-point attempts is to get to that line as quickly as possible and fire them up. However, I think these are some of the lower quality attempts they're going to get unless they face teams that are just terrible defensively. However, they can run quick hitters immediately off their break, where a shooter like Buddy Hield can sprint across the floor off a pin down from Trayce Jackson-Davis and get a good look in the corner. The general speed of the ball and player movement is also faster this year, as the ball whizzes around the perimeter and cutters occupy defenders until they find the open look quickly. Speaking of cutters, while we usually look at players sprinting open into the basket as a source of points from point blank around the rim, they also serve as a magnet to open up three-pointers. Watch how Anderson curls around Moody on his way to the hoop. Moody's defender has to bump the cutter first, giving Moody a 5-step head start around the pin down from Looney, leading to an open shot. Here's another organic cut from Gary Payton III. After Moody lets him know he's behind him, Payton cuts through, dragging Moody's man with him, generating a wide-open corner three-point shot. The most fun way the Warriors are going to get more threes is with Buddy Hield. Fun fact, these are the two most prolific three-point shooters of the last 5 seasons. And watch how he uses get actions to sprint across the floor. Following his pass where the handoff gets him half a step, Buddy can get running faster without the ball in the second get. And when the split screen causes a switch, he catches them out of position for a good look from the corner. Get action is everywhere in this offense. De'Anthony Melton runs it with slow-mo, who keeps the ball, knowing a pin down is happening on the weak side for Buddy. The defender simply cannot try and shoot the gap on this, as Buddy will break back to his right for more space and a wide-open jumper. Hield is already very comfortable as the focus of the defense. Setting a back screen is a great way to get a shooter open. Credit to Max Christie for staying attached as Buddy comes off the pin down. So he runs another get action in a two-man game with Anderson. The ball never stops moving, trying to get an advantage, finally creating one as Hield comes off a handoff and sucks D'Lo to him, freeing up GP to catch a terrible pass yet still hit the shot. Watch out when both Steph and Buddy are in the game together. Incredible pressure on the defense to play it perfectly without mistakes. Buddy could use the pin down on the weak side, but breaks it off when he's top locked by Russell. Draymond has an automatic. Once he sees Buddy coming towards him from the baseline, he must set a screen. Once again, we see what happens when a defender tries to cheat inside the screen. Watch for lots of get action out top between the guard and the center, which will flow into a pin down on the weak side. If the cutter rejects the screener turns around for a high post catch. Melton also has a choice, another get action off the high post or split screen away, then slip. While Looney missed the cutter, you can see how it drew two defenders, creating a wide open shot for the best shooter on the court. Here is a set out of new assistant coach Terry Stott's playbook by zipper cutting Melton and then flaring him out to the weak side. The screen forces a switch and allows Melton the baseline drive. Now it's just up to Buddy to move to the open spot on the floor for another easy jumper. And if you've been following me for any amount of time, you'll know about my obsession with one-legged three-pointers. So cheers to you, Buddy, for making what would have been a normal left-right jumper into a wild attempt that served to get him the most space possible. Don't forget the most common action the Warriors have run during the Curry era is the low post split. They've gotten very clever at hiding it with false action to start the possession until Looney cuts across for the catch at the block. The basic version is that the passer screens at the elbow, and if Moses Moody can make these types of shots, the Warriors are incredibly deep with their shooting ability. Watch the flow when the initial options are taken away. When neither Moody or GP3 aren't open on their pin downs, it flows right into keep action out top, then feeding Anderson in the low block. Looney was the passer, so he cross screens from Moody back the other way, and it's a great look from the left wing. And last but not least, they still have some guy named Steph Curry who's going to get up his share of triples. Fox simply cannot be on top of Steph in the far corner here since he doesn't know when Steph is going to go, hence he needs a two-step head start here. Instead, he's now trailing, flailing, and failing. Remember when I said if you want to get a shooter open, have them set a back screen? The defense thinks this is typical Princeton action with a handoff into reversal, but Steph throws in a back screen to the passer who ends up wide open for a layup, but no matter since the extra pass sets up the pin away for Curry at full speed, and he does what he does best. Same initiation of the offense, only this time Steph is handing off, and I love how he loops around the court under heavy physical duress, and he shows a ball screen, but when that is rejected for a corner pass, it turns into basically a low post split where he can shake and fake and make with the little lean in from the three-point line. With no less than 6 shooters in the team and a spread offense designed to generate as many threes as possible, it's no surprise that the Warriors are trying to play the numbers in order to give them a statistical advantage. Last year, teams that made 4 or more threes than their opponents won 73.6% of the time. The Warriors only did this 25 times last year, winning 68% of them. The team with the most games outscoring their opponent by 4 or more threes was the Boston Celtics, and they turned that huge advantage into a staggering 93% winning percentage. So the Warriors are going to need to take a lot more threes this year in order to feel the effects in the win column. Also, keep your eye on Brandon Pajemski. One of the best ways to create great looks from beyond the arc is with a skip pass, and he's already demonstrated a keen eye for spotting the help side defense over-rotating and firing long passes right on the money to open shooters. If you're wondering how Steph feels about this newfound motion offense and spacing, we need only look at last year, when barely anyone else was taking threes, and Draymond Green, of all players, was second on the team in percentage. You can see how defenses would key in on him and make his shots a lot more difficult without that many perimeter threats around him to help space the floor. As a result, he shot his lowest three-point percentage in 9 seasons. It was still very good, but expect him to shoot a lot closer to his career high this season based on how quickly the ball is moving, the players are cutting, and the sheer amount of bona fide three-point threats around him, which will force defenses to spread themselves out very thin, trying to keep tabs on everyone. I know these shots didn't go in, but the quality of shot is very high, and I'm sure we all know that it's only a matter of time until he hits a high percentage of these types of good looks. If all that happens, we'll be treated to a fun brand of basketball with a deep bench that should lead the league in non-starter scoring as well. It just remains to be seen if their small size and penchant for turnovers will overcome the shooting advantage or not. But seeing several players be able to run the Curry role in their offense into open looks from 3 makes me think that we simply cannot count the Warriors out for a title in June.